You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
And thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Good afternoon, I should say. And it's your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 440 of the podcast. This episode, we are talking the men's side of the Sweet 16. Before I get into that, there's a few things I want to say up front. Last night, myself and Brendan Potts, we talked about the women's Sweet 16. So check that out if you hadn't already. Later on today, I'll be previewing the men's matchup against Florida and the women from Maryland as they play South Carolina tomorrow. And then I'll be working on the NFL Mock Draft 1.0. That'll be officially worked on. And then it's the Elite Eight, Final Four, National Championship on both sides of the NCAA Tournament. And then there's the WNBA Draft, recap, all those different things, WNBA Mock Draft 4.0. And that's about it for the podcast as of now. Again, appreciate all the support I've been getting on the channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content. And let's just get into it. So we're down to 16 teams for the men. I think for the most part, I think that these 16 teams, I think, have earned their keep. I think they've earned their way. There's been some surprises. There's been some that predicted that they wouldn't get as far as the second round. I think there's a couple sleepers in this one for sure. But for me, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I mean, for example, you have Florida as the number one school going against Maryland, Houston and Purdue, Kentucky and Tennessee, Arkansas as a 10 seed against Texas Tech. Can't sleep on them. Then you have BYU, Alabama, Ole Miss, Michigan State, Auburn, Michigan, and then there's Duke, Arizona. Those are all great matchups, so definitely something to watch. And let's pull up the bracket while we're here. Thank you, producers. I appreciate it. And let's just really kind of just talk about it. So, I mean, we're really kind of going to start with the first game, obviously. I think everyone's kind of really looking forward to it. And that's the Blue Devils versus Arizona, the Wildcats. And I think this is probably one of the best game. Caleb Love, we all know him as the Blue Devil Killer. And who leads an Arizona group that is good on the perimeter, shooting wise. Even though Duke has the size that can contest those shots, it's going to be interesting to see how they can get those open looks against Duke. Definitely something I'm going to look for. And for a guy like Cooper Flagg, who has adjusted well, and who still put up 24. Who put up the last time they saw each other was 24 points in Arizona. So I'm curious to see how it's going to look for sure. I mean, for it to get to this matchup for sure, I think it was destined. I mean, everything for Arizona runs through Caleb Love. I mean, again, his first 3 seasons were at North Carolina, and then hit the game-winning shot of Coach K's career at the Final Four. So we know he's ready for moments like this. And then when you look at Duke, again, Cooper Flag, but it's really Tyrese Proctor. I think he's been one of the best 3-point shooters so far in the tournament. But outside of interesting coming into the tournament, this first 100 games, I saw this somewhere, he never made no more than 5 3-pointers. And that was interesting. And so far, he's shot under 38% so far. So, and just in the past, 3 games, and he's about shot on 65%. So when you have an offense that's not only with Cooper Flag, but you got Zion Jones, it's going to be interesting to see how the Wildcats can contain an offense that can not only space the floor but has size on the perimeter. But I'm going to give the Wildcats. I'm going to give them the upset. I said they're going to advance for sure. That's my my upset for sure. I got Duke. Arizona beating Duke right there for sure. Auburn and Michigan. I think actually no, let's go to Texas Tech in Arkansas. That's the game I really want to talk about. I think for Arkansas to be a 10 seed, Arkansas, the last time these two met, were in the second round back in 21. And they won, Arkansas won by 2, if I remember correctly. And it's a little different. We all know John Calipari, the head coach, and we all know the matchup the matchup him and Rick Pitino had to get to this point. But you look at them as a 10 seed, but this is an Arkansas team that needed some time to find their footing, those different things like that. And, even though I think really there's anybody you can say anyone on that line, that team can have a come out game for sure. It's kind of hard to kind of figure out Arkansas knowing them, because the way how they're kind of built, it's kind of unpredictable. So I think watching them for sure is going to be something interesting. I'm going to give the Texas Tech for sure. I'm not saying Arkansas won't put up a fight, but Texas Tech as a 3 seed, and I think again being ready in this moment for sure, it's going to be something to see. So, that's just how I feel on that one. Let's go to Auburn and Michigan, and I think this one's definitely going to be the big one for me. I don't have any. I don't have any really upsets on that one. I think Auburn, it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say Auburn. I'm going to say Auburn by 5. Maybe. Just depends on how everything looks. So, if you look at kind of how everything looks, I think they're ready for this moment. I like how everything is looking for them. I'm a roll with Auburn on that one for sure. Who else do we got? BYU and Alabama. That's a good one. I wouldn't sleep on that one, because Alabama, they did beat St. Mary's. Because what was it? Augustus. I can't remember he was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. They did a good job on the offensive side of the ball. It was going to be interesting to see how offensively they will look, because it's a surging Crimson Tide team. that will definitely be ready. So it's gonna be interesting to watch them, because I think really going against a BYU is going to be the 3-point shooting. It's definitely, because they got to make shots on the perimeter. I mean, they do make threes, but they can be a streaky offense at times. Either team is not the best defensively, but there's going to be some adjustments. But I mean, you can't respectfully, you just can't try to outscore a Coach Oates team. You can't do that. You're going to have to really win early on the perimeter with their defense, get stops early, and come out swinging early. I think that's just the key. So that's just how I see a team like Alabama beating a BYU, but vice versa. But I'm going to say BYU. It's going to be a close one, but I'm going to give Alabama the edge for sure on that one. Yeah, I'm going to say that one for sure. Maryland, Florida, that one is going to be a good one. I think the key is our guard play, especially we got to get the guards going early. Derek Queen getting the ball to win us, to beat Colorado State, I thought was good. Take the last shot. But I think we're better with our guard play, especially Rodney Rice, who's a 37% three-point shooter. And him had his 16 points, I thought were an effective 16 points, because especially when he takes at least 10 shots or more, we win those games. And also, too, him as a wing, he creates more opportunities for Derek Queen, Juju, and others. So I would definitely like to see that more from Maryland. We'll get a little bit more into that as well. But I mean, some other matchups. I mean, Florida for sure is going to be something to watch for sure. I mean, it's going to be interesting how we look against them on the glass, because Alex Cordon and Ruben Chincheli, they definitely will beat you on the boards if you cannot get them early. So that's definitely going to be something to watch for sure. And then we have Kentucky, Tennessee. That should be a good one. Actually, that's actually might be. I should see what the money spread on that one is actually. That one for Kentucky and Tennessee, because Kentucky, who did they beat? Illinois. Yeah, they did. I think for Kentucky, because they did beat them. They beat them twice this year, if I remember correctly. So I feel like what worked in the last two matchups for Kentucky was the 3-point shooting, and they were ironically 50% from three in both of those games. And that's something that the Vols are just not, their defense from the perimeter is just not the best. And I think with Chaz Lanier, he needs to get him going early for sure. He did struggle. He was like 0-7. But I think for him with Tennessee, he opens up the floor for the others. And when he struggles, the rest of Tennessee's offense struggles, because I found this stats where he's like, they're 21-0 when he scores 18 or more points, and they're like 8-7 when he is just cold as ice. So that is something to definitely watch for sure. That I was like, wow. But and then you have Ole Miss going up against Michigan State. That's going to be a good one for sure. I mean, Sam Perdula, he got an all-third SEC team honoree, and the bench I think is going to be key in this matchup. because at least if you looked, I think everyone at least was in double figures coming off the bench. They beat Iowa State. That was a good game for them for sure. But their bench is definitely going to be key. And Coach Beard's team definitely has the sparks coming off the bench. And then, I mean, I think they have the talent to compete with some of the teams, but I mean, on paper, no, matchup wise. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how their bench goes against a Michigan State team for sure. So, and then when you look at Michigan State, on the other hand, they beat New Mexico, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, the key is going to be Trey Holloman. Painfully, that brings up some recent painful memories. But he's definitely been playing crucial role for the Spartans, and his 14 points against New Mexico was good. And hey, they're going to need him because he definitely, along with that backcourt, Frankie Fedler and others. I mean, the 36 points off the bench, and then they outscored them by 29. So, because their guards just were abysmal. Because Fears Jr. and Jace Richardson were I think 1 of 12, and that can't happen. So I think you're going to see a better outing from them for sure. But I'm going to say Michigan State, Auburn, Arizona, Alabama, Maryland, Texas Tech, Kentucky, the Boilermakers. I'm going to say Purdue. I'm going to give Purdue the edge. They're going to advance to the Elite Eight. Yeah, I'm going to pull a Brendan Potts for sure on that one. Yep. So that's my Sweet 16 preview for the teams. The first 3 games actually start today. We got Duke and Maryland. Florida and Maryland, excuse me. Comes on 7:39, and then Duke and Arizona 9:39, and then Texas Tech and Arizona 10:09. So definitely check those games out, and then the remaining games will come on tomorrow as well as the women's. So that is actually it for my preview for the Sweet 16. Actually, we're going to get into one final thought. Actually, we're going to go to commercial break.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
Okay, 2 quick final thoughts. A friend of mine reached out, literally sent me a text and wanted me to talk on this Stephen A. Smith LeBron thing. I'm just going to be transparent. I'm not wasting my breath on it because at this point, it's just getting ridiculous. It's petty. And unfortunately, it's sad that we have great basketball NCAA tournament on the men and women's side. We're getting ready for opening day baseball, which starts today. I know we have run down the NFL offseason. I know it's a little bit slow with media, but this has dragged on long enough. And at this point, let it go. Okay. And it just, no, I like, unfortunately that like this is what sells, because him going on different podcasts and here, then seeing today and him talking about it, like at this point, it's just now getting ridiculous. So that's all my 2 cents on that. But the point I'm trying to make is, we have to stop giving things like that attention, because that's what sells, and they know that. And I would just like to caution everybody and stop feeding into it because of things like that. And it is what it is. And then my last final thought is I'm going to break down the Maryland-Florida matchup for the men's a little bit later today. I got some other thoughts on Kevin Willard. I'm going to get to a little bit more personally later today. And then the women for the Maryland, they have a media thing at 2:30. So I'm going to partake in that and then come back at y'all a little bit later. And then we'll recap this past weekend and then preview tomorrow's matchups. But until then, this has been your host. Hope you're all having a great day so far. Today's Thursday. And just on this last night does not feel like today's Thursday. Day's going a little fast already. But please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content. We'll see you in Elite 8. Peace. Stay up.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.